Hey guys, Mary Meet, and welcome to another episode of whatever this is that I don't really have a name for. Again, we are going over the chakras. We're going one by one. And as we started with the root chakra, we've moved up one. We are in the sacral chakra, or I call it the belly chakra, which is not accurate, but it kind of, works for me. So, now with the sacral chakra, this is just below your belly button, okay? Its color is orange, and it's also called, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana? I guess I did try to pronounce it. And that means sweetness, okay? So, this is really a chakra that deals with desire, with pleasure, with sexuality, okay, with food. And this is the chakra that deals with our, need and desire for sex. So it's this is our sexy chakra. It also deals with our feelings, our emotions. And, very often emotions and sex are intertwined. And so the verb for this chakra is I feel, okay? The element is water. And as we know from our tarot studies, water is very much about the emotions. That kind of like ebb and flow of water symbolizes our emotional state. The sound for this chakra is Vam, V-A-M. So that's something that you can chant as you're focusing on the chakra. And again, we want that spinning, and we want it spinning. We want it healthy. We want it to be in good shape. Any problems with this will manifest as sexual problems or, repressing our emotions, that sort of thing. This is a very expressive chakra. So this is about us expressing ourselves on a sexual and emotional level. So we want to keep that healthy. Now, again, I have this lovely candle that I got from our local metaphysical bookstore, Phoenix and Dragon. And it says, let me see, located just below the navel, its function is problem solving and creativity. So yeah, again, it is a creative chakra as well. I tend to think of the throat chakra as being a little bit more about creativity because I feel like that goes along with communication. Creativity is how we communicate with the world, but I can see how this would be very involved with that too. And creativity is kind of a nebulous thing. It comes from different places for different people. It can be a water concept. It can be a fire concept because sometimes you have all these ideas and you just want to make them happen. That's a big part of creativity too. It can be, an air thing because it is about, again, communication, throat chakra, that sort of thing. So, I don't know. So, I don't know. I just try to honor creativity wherever I can and we'll use whatever we need. So, alrighty. So, as far as the stones go, I actually had trouble finding good stones for the sacral chakra. And the sacral and the solar plexus, there aren't a lot of stones for those. There were tons for the root chakra, okay? Because the root chakra, if you remember, was about grounding, okay? It was about feeling safe. It was about, a lot of things that stones are really good for. The root chakra was connected to earth, and so stones earth, it was pretty easy. But this one's a little bit tougher. This one's a little bit more nebulous, okay? The color for the chakra is orange, so, most of the stones are orange. And I actually even found a new stone that I had never seen before that I decided to use for this. And when I did my research, I kind of found out that, yeah, it totally works for this. So, alrighty, let's start with the orange calcite. And I love this piece. It's just so, I don't know, I have kind of a love affair with the color orange. I didn't like it for the longest time. I don't know why. It was just one of those weird preference things, but then I kind of looked at it one day and realized how much I love it, and this piece just makes me so happy. Now, with orange calcite, it balances your emotions, okay? It removes fear, all right? And, a lot of times, any problems that we have with our sexuality has to do with fear. Fear of how people perceive us, fear of letting ourselves go, fear of really experiencing emotion. So this is great for that. This helps heal your reproductive system. So again, the sacral chakra has to do with anything having to do with your reproductive system. And actually it's good for your intestines too. And it's all kind of down there. So orange calcite goes in the bag. And, laugh at this bag with me because I could not find an orange bag. So I took a yellow one and colored it with an orange Sharpie. And it's kind of streaky. And I actually kind of dig it. So, I don't know. I'm into it. So, we do what we have to do to make things work around here. So, okay. Now we've got peach moonstone. Alright. And this, I love this piece. I have tons of this from mining. This is something that ends up in your dirt when you go mining a lot. So I had a lot of this, and I was really excited to find a way to work with it. Now, peach moonstone calms emotional triggers, okay? So anything that sets us off, that makes us feel uncomfortable, that, really puts us in a bad, anxious space, this is good for that. This is good for overreactions, and it just stabilizes your emotions in general. Now, this helps build emotional intelligence. And when we're talking about sexuality, this is needed, right? Because, I'm not perfect. I've made really bad decisions based on a desire for sex or a desire for love, or, I've made bad decisions. And emotional intelligence is about not doing that, about knowing what you're worth, knowing that that's a terrible idea and not doing that. So, emotional intelligence, we all need that. This is good for deep, deep, deep emotional healing. Okay, this gets into the really rough stuff, and but gently. It's a very gentle stone, but it does kind of get into the things that we really need to heal. And I know I could use that. I'm pretty sure everyone has a reason that this would be really good for them. This also has to do with upper digestion, so it kind of goes back to that food relation here. This is good for hormone balance, which again goes back to sexuality. If your hormones are off, a lot of times you either don't want sex or you just want too much. So, and that kind of ruins that emotional intelligence we were talking about. But again, this is really good for the reproductive system. So, peach moonstone in the bag. Alrighty, this is one of my all-time favorite stones. And again, like I said, I didn't like orange until one day I just did. And I was at my local metaphysical store and found this, and it just feels good. And I usually have a piece of this on me. And it's, for me, I use it for kind of like energy, for balancing out kind of solar energy with my natural inclination towards lunar dark energy. This is really good for anything that I'm not. I feel like sometimes you need to find that balance, but I just love it, and I just love to have a piece of this on me. Now, snakeskin agate is about bringing up and releasing old unneeded emotions. Okay, so it kind of goes along with that peach moonstone again. Excuse me, where sometimes we need to bring up our stuff and deal with it, because pushing it down is not going to help anything. Okay. So through that, we find personal growth, and this is really good for personal growth. This is good for aligning your emotions with your growth. Okay, so if you've got emotions that are holding you back, like, again, fear of intimacy will hold you back. Fear of success will hold you back. Fear of failure, fear of connecting. Okay, all those things will hold you back. This is going to help with that. This is going to help you grow, and it's going to help you transform. This is a very transformative stone, okay? It's also very clearing, okay? So this is good for clearing your chakras. And you'll find that a lot of the root chakra stones, or sacral or solar plexus, are good for clearing. Because if you clear the energy path in the lower chakras, that's going to help the energy move up to the higher chakras, and we want that. So you'll find this a lot in the lower chakras. And this is just good for vitality. And don't we feel sexier when we feel alive, when we feel awake, when we feel passionate about things? So snakeskin agate, go get some. This is, I love it. I just can't even tell you how my life kind of changed when I started carrying this, because it just brought me into a better sense of balance. So now here we have sunstone. And this is also a type of feldspar. So, you've got moonstone, which is a type of feldspar. You've got labradorite, which is a type of feldspar. This is sunstone, different type of feldspar. There are a lot of really pretty feldspars. So I don't know if you can see there are like little sparkles in there. And it's just got this really beautiful kind of pinky peach color that's just gorgeous. So this is about joie de vivre, okay? Which is that, you know, the concept of loving your life, of being just happy. Just, there's so many good things in life, and we want to grasp those, okay? This is about nurturing yourself. And so if we're talking about, you know, on an emotional level, yeah, we all need that. We all need to kind of be our own best friend. As I actually went to see a psychic once who told me that I needed to be my own best friend, and that really resonates with this stone. Again, it clears all chakras, okay? So it just brings that good energy in. This removes energetic ties, okay? And sometimes to advance emotionally, we have to cut old ties. We may have ties to our past that are not helping us, are not serving us, that just need to be severed. They need to be let go. This is something I work with a lot. When I find that I have been spending my energy on things that aren't good for me, I need to really sever those ties, because I have a tendency to keep ties with things that are unhealthy to me. This stone is great for that. This is an antidepressant, okay? It brings in that kind of sun solar energy, all right? And kind of shines a light on our emotions, kind of livens us, brings us a little bit of joy. This also removes inhibitions, okay? So we're going to keep this with that peach moonstone to kind of, you know, that one's more about emotional intelligence. This is about removing inhibitions. Hopefully those will balance each other out. This removes hang-ups. So again, really good for sexuality. Again, it's good for, it's just an optimistic type of stone, and it's very enthusiastic. So optimism, enthusiasm, passion, joy for life, we need those things, okay? And especially if we're going to connect on any kind of an emotional level. If we are just mopey all the time, we just, you know, that you're cutting yourself off from a big part of life and from a big part of connecting to others. So now this is the one that I found. I realize I've got 3 feldspars in here, which is I find kind of interesting, but I found this. I don't know how well this is going to show up for you, but I found this at the bookstore, and I just knew that it had to go in. I didn't know if it really worked for what I was trying to do, but I knew that I wanted it in there. And when I came home and I did some research, yeah, it totally works, totally goes. Now this is golden feldspar, which I, again, had never seen before, and it looks like just a really pretty type of peach moonstone where the sparkle is less, like it looks kind of like silky, like a silky sheen here, like regular moonstone, but here from the side it's just very sparkly, okay? So it's a little bit like peach moonstone, but different. You know, there's a little bit of a different energy to it, so it's a little bit more special, I think. Now, golden feldspar is warming and healing, okay? And so when I think of emotions, and when you're just feeling terrible and you need emotional healing, I think of that as being a very cold energy, so that warming really works for that. This will help raise your energy levels. Again, good for, you know, emotional interactions, good for finding the joy in life, good for, you know, for sexuality, sure. This is good for fertility. There you go. Regulating hormones, again, sexuality. This is good for breaking negative patterns, okay, which is, again, it kind of goes back to that releasing those energetic ties. There are things that we don't need to be tied to. There are things that we need to cut free of, and so this is good for that. This is good for kickstarting your immune system as well. And I think of the immune system as being kind of like a lower chakra type thing because, again, it's the basis for everything, okay? It is the kind of ground level things that we want to work. Now, when your immune system is out, you know, it kind of leaves you open for all sorts of things. And so, I don't know, I think of that kind of with emotions too. If your emotional immune system is out, I'm kind of reaching for a metaphor here, then, you know, you're kind of open to everything and all kinds of gunk gets in. So I feel like this is kind of good for keeping that strong. All right. So those are my stones. Again, I only have 5 this time, but they're 5 that I feel really good about. I feel like they work. I feel really good about these stones. Now, one that I would have liked to have added in here, but I could not get my hands on, is coral. And coral is good for love, passion, creativity, inner peace, friendships, optimism. It has that same water energy, and it quiets emotions. So, like, I would have loved to have had it, but I couldn't find it, so that may go in there at some point. So, now these bags I'm going to use when I meditate on the different chakras, so, you know, I'll probably take the stones out and play with them, but I just like having, you know, this is my chakra collection. So, now, onto the oil. And I already filled these up. I don't know if you can see them, but I filled them up with a grapeseed oil so we could skip over that part because it was boring as shit. So, so I had some issues with the oils this week. And again, like I thought I had clove oil last week, I didn't. So I used cloves instead. So I actually had all the oils. Yeah. Okay, so sandalwood oil. Sandalwood is expensive as shit, okay? And with me, I tried to find responsible sources. I tried to find places that source it ethically. Because sandalwood, to get to the sandalwood, the scented part, that's hardwood. So you have to kill that tree. Like, there's no way to harvest sandalwood without killing a tree. And really good sandalwood, it takes like 30 or 40 years for that tree, for that heartwood to really develop all those essential oils. So it has to be done in a sustainable manner. Now, sandalwood has traditionally come from India, you know, a few other places, where they didn't worry so much about whether or not it was sustainable. However, I know that they are farming sandalwood in Australia, and they're using sustainable practices for that. So you can get sandalwood that is sustainable, but it is really hard to find, and it is so expensive when you do. So I had like 4 bottles of sandalwood that were kind of floating around. I had one that was just nag champa, and I used that to kind of bulk this out because, I mean, it was like I had very little sandalwood. So I used some nag champa, which is a blend of sandalwood and frangipani, I think. Anyways, so I kind of bulked this out with all those oils, and it smells absolutely fucking amazing, so I'm fine with that. They were kind of old, but they smell so good, like I can't even tell you. So yeah, they smell outstanding. So we're going to use sandalwood for this oil. And sandalwood is good for self-esteem. Now, when you're talking about sexuality, when you're talking about emotional intelligence, that all comes down to self-esteem. I mean, that is a huge, huge part of it. Because we make better decisions when we love ourselves, okay? And, you know, above all, we have to love ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, like, just everything radiates out from that. So that is like the absolute first lesson. You have to love yourself. So this actually helps lift depression as well. And it's an aphrodisiac. So it works on the emotional level, the sexual level. We're good. So I don't know if this is going to fit. This is not going to fit. Yeah, I think it'll work, actually. So we're going to use, because I went through so much work, we're going to do a hefty base of this. And I'm going to add 9 drops of sandalwood to each of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alrighty. I feel like I'm going to add more of that at the end because it's such a good base note. And yeah, these other 2 are kind of spicy, and so they'll kind of like float on top of that. So let me keep that next to the sandalwood. There we go. Now, the next oil I'm going to use is ginger. Okay, I have so much ginger oil, it's ridiculous. Ooh, that's so good. Now, ginger is warming, it's uplifting, okay, so good for the emotions, and it's really good for gratitude, which I think is like a really important emotional quality to have. It's an aphrodisiac. And again, I like the warming aspect of this because, again, emotional healing comes down to warming, okay? You want to warm things up. If you are trying to connect with someone sexually, you're warming things up. If you want to heal the cold, dark parts, you want to warm things up. It works. So we're going to go... Yeah, this isn't terribly strong, so we're going to go with 9 of this as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alrighty. And I'm going to leave this open because I feel like I'm going to adjust these. I'm kind of just starting out here. So I feel like this is going to need some more adjustments. So now this third oil that I've got, oops, I just dropped the thing, is cardamom oil. And cardamom, it's again an aphrodisiac. And I've used this in a lot of aphrodisiac oils. You'll probably see it again at the full moon because I'm going to be making a lust oil. So this will come out. And yeah, I've got plenty of it. Oh, God, it smells good. Oh, man, okay. So cardamom, again, it's an aphrodisiac. And it's emotionally uplifting, okay? This brings us up to a higher plane. It is energizing, okay? And again, we need that kind of energizing energy to kind of find that joy in life. And it helps alleviate depression. And that is always a good thing. We're kind of down to the end of this bottle, so... Whew, okay, so I'm going to use 5 drops of this because it is kind of... This one's potent. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, now let's shake this up and see what we've got. See how it's going. Look at the bubbles. It's so happy. I love making oils. And I still haven't figured out a good oil-based coloring system, so I don't know. These may just end up with like colored labels, so I really do want to color the oils though. We'll see what happens. Ooh, God. That is amazing. It definitely needs more sandalwood though, because that ginger and that cardamom really come out. They're very strong. They're very, very spicy, so... Alright, so I did 9 drops of the sandalwood. I'm going to add 6 more, so that'll be 15 total. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's try it again. See what the balance is like. Oh yeah, that is sexy. That is really sexy. And it's weird because it actually kind of brought out a bit of an orange scent, which is weird. Kind of works. I mean, the chakra is orange after all, and what's more orange than an orange, but I love that. That's amazing. I think I'm going to wear that. I have to go out tonight, and I think that I'm wearing that. Okay, this is amazing. These are scents that I don't work with like a lot because I tend to do kind of more, I don't do energetic blends. I do blends that are a little bit more cerebral, I guess. But this is like very physical, very energetic, very joyful. I mean, it really brings out that sense of joy in emotions. And I love this one. Again, it's kind of like that snakeskin agate, where it's just not something I normally would have carried, but now that I am smelling it, I'm like, maybe I'm missing some of that energy. Maybe I need to have that around. And hey, fortunately, I just made some, so that really works out, huh? Oh, that one's outstanding. Okay, this is like one of my favorite things ever. So seriously, if you need, and I would think about this just as far as like, if you need like an antidepressant oil, even if you don't want to use it for chakra work, if you need something that's just anti-depression, kind of brings in a sunny, happy energy, this is really good for that. That ginger and the cardamom, they are very, very warming. The sandalwood just brings it up, just uplifts everything. So, I gotta smell it again. Yeah, okay, this is outstanding. You guys need to go make this, So that's it. I hope this video helped. Next week we are coming back and looking at the solar plexus chakra. And that's another one that was tough to find stones again for. So we will take a look at the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow, and I will have different stones and a different oil to make for you. And hope you guys are having a great week, and blessed be. Bye-bye.